Well, y'all, it passed. The Voter ID Act, the Save America Act. That bad boy just passed the House, and now the real work begins. The real binoculars are required to look at these Congress critters as they go through the entire Senate process. Y'all, I told you last week something was cooking and something was brewing. Yeah, it's going down right now, and I'm about to show you everything that you need to know. I've got the math counts, I've got the vote totals, I've got what needs to happen, I've got what's likely to happen, I've got all of it. I apologize for being 19 minutes late on this live stream, but I had to make sure everything was sourced in the description box below, and this was the utmost pristine execution of this video because you deserve the very best. And if you guys are enjoying the content, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on because I'm going to be real honest with y'all. That notification bell, he has been a lazy bastard this week. He's not doing anything for a lot of people. So if you'd like to take your proverbial stick and just poke him off his mom's couch in his mom's basement, brush the Cheeto dust off his chest because he's watching reruns of Xena, that would be amazing. And every bit of engagement that you guys do really does make him encouraged to get a job. It's an amazing thing. So thank you guys all so much for that engagement. Of course, chats, comments, emojis make the entire world go round. The more you guys do it, the more, honestly, the stream goes out. And I think this needs to be spread. I'm going to get right over here. As I can see, no notification. I am shocked. I am appalled. I am beyond myself. That never happens. Yes, it does. All right, guys, just send it out yourselves because it's not going to be bothered to do it. All right, here we go. Chats. Comments, emojis, oh, I have to spell it right because I'll never hear the end of it. Comments, emojis, make the world go around. All right, let's get going, baby. Oh, you didn't miss anything. Good stuff, guys. Great to see you in here. Those emojis, the chats, the comments are starting to flow, and you guys know the way that this works. Once I pin this to the top of the chat, we are off to the races. Of course, don't forget your responsibilities. Keep your hands and arms inside the chat at all times. And just defend its honor from our loyal lefties who are probably going to be here in about 2 minutes. Make sure you're polite, make sure you're accurate, and make sure you defend the honor of the chat. I'll be on this side of the camera, you guys be on that side of the keyboard. Let's freaking get it. I like to start off these shows, if you are new here, with a little bit of an appetizer, I like to call. On our main course, the soup du jour of freedom that we are distributing every single day in order to dispel the propaganda that is thrust upon you from both sides right now. I always like to start these things out with a little bit of humor, a little bit of amusement at the beginning, just to get our creative juices flowing, our sarcasm switch good and going, and this is the perfect thing. Y'all, sometimes I'm like, oh, this will go well. Then other times I'm like, this is going to go swimmingly. Y'all, the raging grannies of Rhode Island, they have deployed their musical talents against us. Be wary of the raging grannies of Rhode Island. I cannot create content like this. They do it to themselves. We've got everything, guys. We've got multiple walkers here defending the Democrats against the mean, evil, racist ICE raids. We've got the raging grannies, or Aunt Tifa too, being all cutesy with their spelling. And then there's an audible treat as well. We're going to start off with the audible treat, guys. The clever lyrics make the world go round, and I'm just going to remind you where we've been after this. But let's get this going. The raging grannies of Rhode Island have a message to deliver. Okay, here we go. You've been warned.
Alone, hear us, I swear unto you, and we know what we're gonna do. We are free and unafraid, and we'll stop your racist raids. Yes, we are free and unafraid, and we'll stop your racist raids. Alone, hear us, I swear unto.
Sometimes I'm a content creator on the internet. I give my opinion and words for my time. And I'm even lost for words on this one. Let's play a little game called Can You Count the Walkers? I've got 2. Does anyone got 3? But the raging grannies of Rhode Island are out to scare us with their delectable audible treats. Don't worry, they brought more signs. See you at the march. That was the march. Y'all, I'm going to need some commentary love on this one because I'll just come across as mean. But you guys have the innocuous advantage of the internet. Have fun. Okay, so that was the first treat I have for you guys. But I would be remiss if I didn't find more of the same things. Look, This one's from a church. Guys, they are deploying their most ardent weapons against this, the creative voice of song. This one's in a church, and it's put on by Indivisible Southern Delaware. Let's completely ignore the idea that Indivisible is a group that is tied directly to communists. But other than that pesky little fact, here's another amazing auditory treat for you guys. This one was just the other day. I can't imagine why everyone looks at these people like an eye roll. Let's keep on going.
Our neighbors in Afghana, de-ice our neighborhoods. Invite our neighbors in Afghana, de-ice our neighborhood. Invite our neighbors in, we're gonna heal this world with love. Tear down the fences. Our neighbors in Afghana.
Tear down the fences. All right, guys. Starting to feel pretty good. Starting to feel pretty good about our odds here. And of course, I would be remiss again if I didn't remember the rapid response choir around the ice stuff in Minnesota we covered about 2 weeks ago. Just to remind everybody, this is what they were doing 2 weeks ago. Guys, the power of song is out in full force. Are you shaking in your little space boots? I know I am.
Thank you, Rapid Response Choir.
Thank you, Rapid Response Choir. No, I can speak on behalf of 740,000 subscribers. No, thank you. Honest to God, thank you. Oh, Guys, I didn't expect to be defeated by the power of song and love and hope and dance, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm feeling very, very defeated after watching that prowess. But anyway, here's one more thing. I'm going to be honest with you. I couldn't find a good place and intro for this, so I just stuck it up here with the songs. Hey, look! CNN lost nearly 2/3 of its viewership since 2016 amid growing fears the network is circling the drain. Oh, you hate to see it. Anyway, all right, let's keep on trucking, guys. We are about to talk about some stuff. I hope you enjoyed thoroughly that introduction. Was it an auditory treat as well as a visual treat? Was it just amazingly powerful? Were you scared? Should I play him again later in the episode just to make sure you guys are still alive? Yeah. I hope they keep doing this. And I hope they get every microphone. And I hope they get every camera. And I hope they continue to do this because the power of song is indeed alive and well in the Democrat ranks, the rapid response choirs, the raging grannies of Rhode Island. My God, nothing says join our ranks like that. Okay, we're going to need everyone back off the cliff. They're deploying the raging grannies, all right? Anyway, let's get into this, because now we're going to talk about the SAVE Act passing, and this is a very important one. Thank you for stopping. You guys are hilarious over here. So now, we're going to jump right into goodness gracious, the Save America Act, which is the Voter ID Act. We're going to dive into all the different pieces because it just passed. After that appetizer, how can I not bring you a main entree of freedom on this episode? Well, it turns out that they must be really uncomfortable on the left because they pulled Barack Obama out of the Hamptons, and he's posting now. Barack Obama comes out against the SAVE Act and tells Congress to vote no. Republicans are still trying to pass the SAVE Act. Oh my God. A bill that would make it harder to vote and disenfranchise millions of Americans. Let me wait until I show you the video. Join Redistrict Act and tell your member of Congress to vote no. No, Barry, I'm not going to do it because we need IDs in our elections and I don't care where they pulled you from. It doesn't matter to me. Anyway, let's keep on trucking. This just happened. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit for you guys. You need to know what's going on so you can know the ins and outs. This bad boy just passed the House with one Democrat defecting, and ironically, in kind of a comical way, Speaker Johnson is like, it's bipartisan. Yeah, you had one Democrat, like one of them. Like, come on. Technically, yes, it is bipartisan, but let's not fool ourselves and think that the Democrats completely and totally just saw the light. No, that's just one. By the way, I realized my ring was off while I was typing. I don't want people to think I'm not married anymore. Sorry. All right, let's keep on trucking, guys. We have got so much to do, so little time. This last little phrase right here, now on to the Senate, and that is where this gets interesting. Here's the ins and the outs. It's official. The Save America Act has passed the House of Representatives. Once it's signed into law, here's what is required. You must prove citizenship to register to vote. Photo ID at the polls. Voter ID will take effect immediately. And mail-in ballots must have a copy of your photo ID. All right. I'm cool with that. Are you guys cool with that? You let me know over here in the comments and the chats if you're cool with that, because that to me seems like kind of low-hanging fruit. I'm just saying. It didn't do anything super crazy. I'm sure the loyal lefties and Constable will have a problem with it, but honest to God, this doesn't seem like a big reach. But anyway, let's keep on trucking because now we see the ins and the outs and how this is going to work. So, I told you that it passed already. The bill requires proof of U.S. citizenship and photo ID to vote in federal elections. The final vote was 218 to 213, and the Democrat yes vote was Henry Cuellar, a Democrat from Texas. Okay, fine, amazing. Woo, it's bipartisan. I don't really care or expect it to be bipartisan. This is not in the benefit of Democrats, which is why they're coming out with these stupidest examples of defense ever. But anyway, looks like 1,000 people are here. We are 11 minutes in. The notification bell is still indeed being a lazy bastard. So guys, just keep on sending it out. I appreciate each and every one of you for taking your role in the fight and passing this along. All right, here we go. The Save America Act has passed the House. This is the most important part about this whole thing. All eyes are on Thune and how he will handle this. Securing 50 GOP senators seems doable. That number is very important, and I'm about to walk you through why that's important in a second. The question is, can we do a standing filibuster for the Save America Act? This would likely tie up the Senate for weeks, but who knows? Okay, let's address this piece by piece. We're going to go big screen on this so you guys can be in the know and be fully aware of what they're talking about. So, securing 50 votes. That's a little bit different. That's a simple majority, right? 50 plus 1, that is the vice president. Vice President J.D. Vance is the president of the Senate. So that means they have to get to a number of 50, and then they pass it with 50 plus 1, which is the vice president, the president of the Senate, the vice president. I said that like 800 times. Whatever. You get the idea. Okay. That's why that number 50 shows up. The other reason that that's really important is there's the filibuster in place, and this is where all the marbles come into the play. Okay? You have to know this piece. Normally, the filibuster is 60 votes to pass through as legislation and go on to the president. Okay? Obviously, if this bill has passed the House and it's got to get to the president, it has to go through the Senate. The only way to get legislation to the president is go through the filibuster, unless it is a budgetary bill. If it's a budgetary bill, it can go through something called reconciliation. Reconciliation is what they got the one big beautiful bill through. You know, that thing that is having more money in people's pockets through, no taxes on overtime, no tax on tips, and no tax on Social Security. Those three things, because it was budgetary in nature, so it passed with 50 plus 1. Same process. Now, what they have to do is they have to do something to the filibuster called a standing filibuster versus what they're calling a zombie filibuster. I'm going to walk you through all this in a second. I'm just giving you the high level so you are aware of what's happening, because a lot of this is getting mixed and washed out in the muddy waters, okay? If they do a standing filibuster, which is what needs to happen in order for this to work, okay? The standing filibuster is the filibuster still in place, but once the Democrats stop talking, then debate is closed with a simple majority, not a 60 vote count. Okay, if that happens, the Democrats basically have to stand there and talk ad nauseum until they either run out of IVs, or they run out of catheters, or they run out of waste bags, or they just pass out because they're geriatric. That's what they would have to do. They have to basically just stall for time and burn the clock down for the remainder of the year all the way into November, actually into January, okay? Very, very unlikely they're going to do that. Here's the pushback and here's the pro and the con argument. On the Republican side, I'm going to walk through the math in a second. I'm going to walk through the Susan Collins and the Lisa Murkowski's in a second. On the Republican side of, hey, we need to do this, it's we need to get to 50 votes and then we can get the vice president to do this and we can make this happen. On the con, they're saying, well, that's a lot of work and we have to really listen to a lot of Democrats talk for 3 weeks or 100 hours. And that would really get in the way of doing a lot of the things that we want to get done, which is, of course, stupid because they're not going to let you get anything done anyway. So it's kind of like a What do you want? Do you want to win this way and listen to a lot of stupidity, or do you want to not win and continue losing? I mean, like, literally, that's how this works. And particularly, this is about voter ID in our elections, so it's kind of pertinent since it takes effect immediately. Okay, that's why you see that number 50. That's why you're going to hear that number 60. That's why this is so important on John Thune, because it's John Thune's decision. Okay, let me know in the comments and the chats if that made sense. I hope that does make sense. I will clarify it if it doesn't, because this is a very important piece. I told you, if you're just now tuning in, I told y'all earlier in this stream, a week ago, something was up. When Anna Paulina Luna and Tim Burchett and all of the senators started talking about the SAVE Act behind the scenes around the whole Donald Trump said don't put the SAVE Act in the reconciliation or in the budget bill, and so we'll get a separate vote. The separate vote is now. That's what I was telling you. Something is up. It's now, right? And someone over here in the comments in the chat just said, I think Autumn is in love with Braden. I don't blame anyone for their feelings of affection. I mean, I get it. The beard and the voice, whoa. You guys know I'm just kidding. I respect all people. Even though they are against us in the moment, we will convert them to the right side, just like the Jedi do. Darth Vader will be converted. All right, this is the other part. The question is, can we do a standing filibuster for the Save America Act? That would likely tie up the Senate for weeks, but who knows? I don't care. Make them talk for weeks. Cool. Amazing. Sounds great. But this is the other piece, the other side of this. This is what you need to understand the arguments are going to be. Because, as I said in my prior video, honestly, I need to go back and check how it was received because I haven't even seen it. Notifications have been like abysmally bad. I said in my prior video, you're looking at clip after clip after clip after clip of Democrats saying really, really, really dumb things about the whole Save America Act thing. Like wild things. And those clips are just going to be used as ads going forward. So let them talk all they want. You know what? We got all the House members. Let's do the senators, you know? Anyway, so this is Anna Paulina Luna. I'm going to show you what she is saying on the floor. I believe this is Anna. I think this is her talking. I'm pretty sure it is. Yes, it is. Okay. Listen to what she says because she actually kind of couches this in common sense. This is the juxtaposition that you're going to see. This is a full-on battle. Don't get it twisted. This is going to be a battle. Republicans are going to frame it this way. Democrats are going to frame it the way I'm going to show you. Watch this.
The gentlewoman from Florida is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My colleagues are spending a lot of time lecturing the American people on how this is going to require you to show your papers. But last time I checked, during COVID, they demanded that if you simply wanted to go to a funeral, be with your loved ones while they were dying, or get married, you had to show your papers. In fact, in New York City, they were literally asking you for your COVID passport. Yet the Save America Act, a common sense piece of legislation that requires two things, voter ID plus proof of citizenship, is being labeled by people in the Senate and people in this very chamber as Jim Crow era laws. Well, let me remind the American people of history. It was the Democrat Party that championed the Jim Crow era laws. And this is the farthest thing from it. In fact, if you're doing that, you're insulting over 70% of your voters, Democrats, who believe that voter ID is the best way to secure an election. Then we have the argument that you have from Blue Anon saying that Trump is trying to steal the election and Orange Man bad, and this is somehow going to fix the midterms. But the fact is that if we are going to play that game, then you would want voter ID and you would want to secure the elections. So please support this legislation. I do not believe that Barack Obama, in showing his voter ID, was engaging in Jim Crow era law or pushing that type of perspective. And for the same people that are advocating, saying that Kristi Noem and ICE will demand your personal information and you will be under surveillance, let I remind them that they actually all authorized the reauthorization of FISA, unreformed, that violated your constitutional rights. So,
y'all, listen, I've told you, I have not held anything back. I dig Representative Paulina Luna because she holds nothing back. She's articulate and she can deliver a death blow really nicely. I really like her. I've always liked her when she jumped in the fray. She's couching up into the power structure of the Republican Party and she's doing it very subtly and doing it well. That is really, really good because she calls out all their abuses. Hey, what about the FISAs? Hey, what about those? Yeah, you authorize those without changing anything. Hey, what about those COVID passports that you guys were so for? What about that? It's all about hypocrisy. This is the whole point. You are getting a very articulate argument. You are doing it with someone who is very well put together, who is very well versed in the actual framing of what she's talking about, and she's calling out the hypocrisy of the left. Keep in mind, I'm going to show you the contrast. This is what you're seeing from the conservative side. This is the commercials. This right here. A lot of the things you see are not for the instant gratification. A lot of the things that you see and that I cover are going to be used later on. This right here is setting up for the midterm fights. I'm telling you, that's where this is going. All right. Let's get it. Actually, I got a couple super chats before I hit that play button again. I'll make sure I don't ignore you guys. Paul Hull with a 8382 with a $10 super chat says, like all the SAVE Act, except the same-day voting only, would like at least 3 or 4 days to hopefully reduce congestion. Maybe change it to open the Friday before and run through Tuesday. So like a weekend vote. Honestly, I mean, as long as that. Here's my thing, and this is just my own take. Like it's just me. Personally, I don't like mail-in voting, and personally, I think that it should all be done in a very select time frame, so you have plenty of time to figure out if you're going to vote, you're going to vote. That's simple. Have a voter ID and make plans to go do it. That's my take on it. This is not that difficult. Not if it's postmarked by this time and if it's received by this day and if you carry the 3 and want the 4 and then you assume this hanging Chad was actually a dimple. I was alive for that whole thing. Simplify it. This is not difficult. And have a paper trail so you can verify it. Come on. Anyway, that's my take on it. All right. Back to Anna Paulina Luna. You guys can let me know in the chats, the comments, the emojis if you agree. Of course, you make the world go round by engaging with the stream because, my God, 2,000 of you somehow found your way here without a notification. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys, and send this out because it is time to continue to kick some ass. All right. Back to Anna.
This is pretty simple. If you are not an American, you do not get to vote in our elections. This is not a free-for-all country. A majority of Americans support this. A majority of the world has voter ID in place. It is not racist. I appreciate my colleagues and the House admin for doing this, and I support all of my colleagues and urge them to vote for this piece of legislation.
See, that's the other thing that I love about this conversation, and this is just a little personal, little bit like, right? Every single argument that the left makes about anything in the world, right? Anything from abortion rights to healthcare to nationalized, socialized healthcare. The rest of the world has it. Why can't we? We are so backwards and we are so inept. Our healthcare system is just run by corrupt officials. Hey, can we get voter ID just like all those other nations you're talking about? No. No. That would be racist. And have we even talked about how many women get married and change their names? Do you not want them to vote? Congratulations. You found the dumbest argument possible. All right, let's keep on going, guys. I'm just going to keep on trucking. Here's Anna Paulina with the actual results of everything that, Americans are polled on. 83% required photo ID to vote. By the way, that's the combination of Republicans and Democrats. 95% for Republicans and 71% of Democrats. 83% collectively? Y'all, this isn't even a slam dunk. This is, you could stand on a boat. I don't know. You know what? Whatever. Democrats are dumb. All right, let's keep on trucking. Have some fun with it while we're at it. A super chat right over here with a $2 from MP. Make Election Day a paid holiday. I dig that too. By the way, there are 1,776 people in this chat right now, and that gives me a patriotic America. All right, let's keep on going. I'm feeling it, guys. I'm feeling it. Let's get it. Let's make it happen. This is Tim Burchett. This is one of the co-sponsors. This is one of the guys that I told you last week. I was like, hey, they're talking about something over here. This was one of them. Check it out. Tim Burchett.
Hey, everybody. Tim Burchett left the House floor. Securing America's Critical Minerals Supply Act, it passed. We've got to do that because of the rare earth minerals, and they're holding us over a barrel on those. Several other bills, Undersea Cable Protection Act that was Senator Blackburn had in the Senate, it passed overwhelmingly in the House. It prohibits the NOAA, as they say, from requiring permits to operate undersea fiber optic cables within a national maritime sanctuary if another federal state authorizes the activity. It's just kind of it removes duplication. But the big thing was the SAVE Act, Save America Act passed as it was amended. And all that says is if you're going to vote, to register to vote, you got to prove you're an American citizen. And if you're going to vote, you have to show an ID, just like you would to get a six-pack of beer or a can of Skull or a scratch-off. It's all pretty ridiculous. All the Democrats want to do is steal an election. Nothing any truer than that.
Well, He said it, not me, YouTube. Wasn't my fault. That's a sitting representative, I'll have you know. I'm just quoting. I'm just a member of the press, apparently. All right. Now, this is the part where it gets fun. I got a super chat right over here from Grunt98. $5. Correct me if I'm wrong. Aren't they supposed to be a voice of the constituents? And the polls say, what? Yeah, it's, that's a thing. That's a thing. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, you'd think that'd be right. But now this is an interesting one. This is, again, y'all, please hear me as I talk about this. Everything that you just saw happen has happened previously. It's passed the House multiple times. This is not a new, incredible, breaking thing that this has never happened before. It has passed the House before. The big thing that it's going to do right now is it's going to go into the Senate. That's where this conversation comes in. I always try to bring you guys along with these videos like crumbs, right? All the way through the entire video. They get to the whole meal. Like you end up full and patriotic and begging for more. I know. Oh, I'm just kidding. Gotta be a little bit more fun for the loyal lefties. Just in, Speaker Johnson met with Senate Leader John Thune on passing the Save America Act. The zombie filibuster could very likely be nuked, forcing a standing filibuster. This is the important piece. If this occurs, you've got a whole different ballgame. And to be fair, you've got a whole different ballgame when the Democrats have power eventually one day too, to be fair. But what you're talking about right now is Majority Leader Johnson going, hey, we did our part. We passed it. You guys should probably do your thing over there. Now it's all on John Thune. The White House wants it. The House passed it. Hey, John, enjoy this pressure cooker because this bad boy's coming. You know what? Let him talk. Listen to this. Speaker Johnson.
I stay in close contact with Leader Thune, and we met yesterday, actually, and talked about this. I told him that it would be coming over. We were certain to pass it, and we would send it, and hopefully we'd get a few Democrats. We got one, okay? So it's a bipartisan bill. It's going to the Senate, and I think Leader Thune is committed. I mean, I know he is to getting this to the floor, but we want to get it not just to the floor, but to the president's desk. We need to get this signed into law. It's really important for all the reasons stated here. We have a custom between us. He doesn't tell me how to run the House. I don't tell him how to run the Senate. But I trust that he is committed to it, and they're trying to figure out the right path. And I think talking filibuster is part of that discussion, and we'll see how it shakes out. So I would hope that there'd be some sensible Democrats there that would recognize, as one did here tonight, that this is a good policy and a good thing, and it's right. It shouldn't be a partisan issue.
Well, but see, this is the problem. And it's a silly thing to say because everyone in the world knows the Democrats are going to vote against Donald Trump no matter what happens. Like, the far left base and the Democrats are divided into two camps. One is pissed at the Democrats for getting their crap pushed in from Donald Trump in 2024. Forgive the visual, but let's just be real. And then the other half is pissed they're not fighting hard enough. I mean, like literally, they're caught between two different wings of their party. So they're not going to go help Donald Trump. That's just not going to happen. He could say, I cured cancer and I just need you to vote for this to make sure cancer goes away in the entire universe instantly, straight up Thanos style, and they'd still be like, no. I mean, they just would. It's TDS to the extreme. Trump does it. I don't. I mean, you've seen it multiple times in his administration the second time around. We just ended a socialist dictator. I'm against it until the polling says, no, and we're actually like it. Oh, us too, the whole time. Y'all, it's just gross. But anyway, this is the whole point. You come to the impasse of the House getting it out the door, and now the Senate has to do this. It all comes down to the Senate, guys. I'm not Nostradamus. I'm not a fortune teller. I can't tell you what's going to happen, but it comes down to this guy right here. Now, some of you would say, oh, great. The guy who didn't really stand up to the parliamentarian in the one big beautiful bill. Then some other of you would say, let's see what happens. For Speaker Johnson to say that the speaking filibuster or the talking filibuster is on the table, that does mean something. Does it mean that it's 100% going to happen? No. But it does mean something that they're comfortable enough talking about that. Donald Trump has said from a very long time ago that he wants the filibuster gone. Speaker Johnson just said we should look at a talking filibuster rather than the zombie filibuster. John Thune is flirting with the idea. Okay, just listen. I'm going to read this real quick, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Again, I try to make this whole thing work, so I make sure I am by hitting those planes, targets, 100%, whatever you want in the chat in the comments. Make sure I'm over the target because you guys deserve the very best, and I value your feedback. All right, let's get into this. Breaking, Senate Majority Leader John Thune is exploring nuking the zombie filibuster to push through the Save America Act, forcing Democrats into a real, old-school talking filibuster where Republicans can outlast them on the floor. If GOP holds strong, just 50 votes, plus the VP, that's the 50 plus 1 I was telling you about earlier, seals the deal for the nationwide voter ID and proof of citizenship. No more silent blocks, make them talk or fold. This ends non-citizen voting threats and secures our elections for good. Time to force the vote and send it to President Trump. And then who's with me? Okay. This is the whole point right here. This is arguably, I'm going to be candid with you guys. This is the moment where the midterms are decided. And I don't mean that because of voter ID. I mean that because of effectiveness. Okay? So when you're talking about this, and the House has already done it, and the President and the White House already wants it passed, and there's all this pressure and all these different senators, I think we're up to like 49 co-sponsors right now, and you're this close, if you drop the ball on something that polls this well, and you have all the Senate support, and you have the White House, and the House passed it, this will have nationwide ramifications for Republicans if they drop the ball. And inversely, if they do it, they will actually have support. And they will. It's gonna go one. It's gonna break one of the two. There is no going in the middle. That is just my own political analysis. I mean, take it for what it's worth. You guys can tell me what you think in the chat in the comments over here. Leave it right over there. If they don't do this and they drop the ball, how screwed are they? And if they do it, how much are they going to benefit? You guys can tell me over here in the chat. But my take on it is it's make or break. I don't know. You guys can tell me what you think. And of course, keep on having that comments, chats, the emojis in there. Let's keep on trucking because it all comes down to the standing filibuster. This is the moment. And this is what I was talking about all the different stars aligning. When you do this for a while, you start to recognize the signs. And I've done this for several years at this point. I mean, we're coming up on about 7 years I've done this aspect of political analysis for the conservative side, the 2A side, all these different pieces. You start to recognize that when certain people throw their names behind it and when people don't. Okay, a really good barometer for this, I'm going to go big screen real quick for you. A good barometer of this is the co-sponsor system. Okay, so back in the day when I was talking about the assault weapons ban, which is HR 1808, and I think it was the 116th Congress. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was. So back when Nancy Pelosi was doing that, HR 1808, 250 Democrats jumped on as co-sponsors. Right? That was the big assault weapons ban push. And this is real life example. So this is what I'm couching this in. All right. That was one example. There was another bill that passed that was introduced. And this was 1,000% excise tax. I don't remember the number because it was pointless. No co-sponsors signed on to it. It didn't go anywhere. It didn't even leave the House. It didn't even come up for a vote in the House. But HR 1808 sure as hell did because Nancy Pelosi put it on there along with all the other Democratic co-sponsors. You can always tell where the energy is and what people are going to try to move by who jumps onto it because it's a big game of recess. I'm on the cool kid team. I co-sponsored it. And if you're not on the cool kid team, then you didn't co-sponsor. This is the way that it works. Okay? The GOP up here, their main accounts are now pushing this. So now you've got the main grand old party, or the GOP. You've got Republicans. You've got the voting support, Republican and Democrat. You've got the Speaker of the House who's saying you should probably do a talking filibuster, and they passed it through the House. You've got the White House that's saying get rid of the filibuster altogether. And now it's all coming down on John Thune. Y'all, this is the make or break. And there's a lot of pressure coming directly on this process. Now, I want to go big screen real quick again, just kind of give you a break from all this stuff. Here's the math and the way it shakes down. And again, if I'm landing this plane, please let me know in the comments because this is really important and send this stuff out. The math that breaks down right now, you've got two senators on the Republican side that are surprise, surprise rhinos. You've got Susan Collins, who is interestingly enough up for re-election, which is a very weird thing to be against. And then you got Lisa Murkowski. Okay, we're going to handle Lisa Murkowski in a second. I've got all sorts of stuff that's going down with that. But that's two. Right now, they have 53 senators on the Republican side, so that puts you at 51. You've got John Fetterman, who has also said he's voting. So now you're back to 52. You've got 2 votes to burn on this. Chuck Grassley just jumped on. He was an if. Joni Ernst is establishment rhino all day long. She just jumped on this. You're starting to see the coalition of this establish, okay? If you're sitting at 52 votes right now, and you've already lost your 2 rhinos, you are in a +2 environment to do whatever you want, because all you need is 50 plus the vice president. That's where we're at right this second. So while the rhinos that are Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins exist, and they've always existed, and they've always stymied us, they still are outnumbered because of the amount of Senate votes that are in place. Okay, that's the current state of this. If they do the standing filibuster like this, genuinely it has a pretty good shot. If they don't, butkus. Okay, now let's keep on trucking. I got some more stuff I want to show you. This is important stuff, guys, and I'm glad that you are here. Here's another one that is piling on. This is very important. Elon Musk just mic dropped every politician who opposes the Save America Act. For those fools and liars who say it is racist to require ID to vote, it obviously is not. Why do majority black countries require ID to vote? And he nailed it. And he goes down this list, and I'll show you the list right here. These are all the lists that are African American, primarily in the demographics of their population, who require ID to vote. Okay, like at a certain point, come on. Come on. You kind of look stupid. Come on, lefties. Everyone in their brain knows that ID is a good idea. Even all of these countries, a lot of which are in the Caribbean and in the African continent. And a lot of them are in the European continent. Come on. This is easy. But the reason I show you this is because this guy, Elon Musk, is one of the main funding vehicles for the Senate and the Republicans outside of the existing $700 million they have sitting in banks, with the Democrats having $150 million. This guy's the richest man on the planet. I mean, like, come on. Anyone else seeing the writing on the wall? Everything is lining up towards this, and it is a very important piece to this entire puzzle. Let's keep on trucking. Guys, we are bringing stuff to you. Oh, things that have not been done before. All right. I've already shown you this one. That's not really that important. I don't need to touch that one. See, I'm duplicating efforts. Here we go. Last thing I want to show on Speaker Johnson. Then we move on to the contrast point, which I have promised. Man, guys, we're at 36 minutes. We got 2,500 people in here. Even with the notification penalty box, you guys are still doing amazing. Thank you guys so much for being here. All right. This is the important part of this segment, which we're going to go into, wrap this up, and then show you the other pieces for contrast. This is important stuff, okay? Speaker Johnson just said something else. A lot of explaining to do. Senate do not let up. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I already showed you the majority of that. Audible. Okay. Here's another break. Now, we're going to go into the most important part of the contrast. I've told you through multiple times that this entire video is meant to build on itself as we go through the entire process, okay? So that's why I'm always asking you for feedback in the comments and the chats to make sure I'm hitting all these pieces, because it's building on itself, all right? What we're about to go into right now is the contrast point, because a lot of politics and a lot of perception is based around these arguments, right? A good example of this would be all of the drama that happened today with AG Pam Bondi. I didn't watch any of it. I saw a 3-second clip, and that's all I cared to see, because it's all drama. It's all theatrics. One side gets their zinger questions. The other side says, oh, they shouldn't have done this, and gets their zinger questions. Congratulations, you did your part. You were a player on the stage, and who's next? I mean, that's the way that this works. So when I show you the things that I'm about to show you, it's all about contrasting perception and what you're going to see going forward, because you got 8 months until the next election, right? The midterm. Now, watch this. I'm going to show you the contrast. And I touched on a couple of these prior, but I want to show you what they're saying on the floor from the Republican side, because this is how you can tell where the framing is going to go in the elections, in the midterms, in the ads. That $700 million, they're just sitting there banking all of the stupid that the Democrats are downloading in bulk. Okay? Watch this. This is the Republican side. This is the contrast. No? Maybe?
On the other side of the aisle, in this very debate, it's already illegal to cast a ballot when you're not eligible to vote. It's already illegal. We don't need another law. Well, let me tell you, Mr. Speaker, it's already illegal for a minor to purchase alcohol, but yet the clerk says, please show me your ID. America is hungry for fair elections. I don't think it's too much to ask that we show an ID to restore election integrity. Let's give America what they want. For all those who say it's too much to ask to show an ID, I say it's nonsense. one citizen, one vote is the foundation of our republic. And Mr. Speaker, let me go ahead and do the math for you and everybody in this room. One illegal vote is one too many. Let's pass the Save America Act now, and let's save voter integrity and voter elections right now. Let's do it, Mr. Speaker.
Right, and you get the idea, right? So I want to draw this contrast to the arguments that are being made on the other side. Okay, what have we heard so far? You guys can throw in the chat what you've heard them say. You've said
Mr. Speaker.
Wow, couldn't do that again if I tried. You've got Jim Crow 2.0. You've got women won't be able to vote if they get married. You've got disenfranchises people of color, because apparently women and people of color are too stupid to get IDs, which somehow is not racist if you're a Democrat, but for everyone else it would be extremely racist. Just leave that one by itself. Enjoy that, lefties. And then the other, what was it again? Oh yeah, it was white supremacist to ask for an ID. So every time you buy alcohol, you're getting white supremized. Just letting you know. All right, let's keep on trucking. Here we go. Here's the white supremacist one. So don't buy beer because you will be white supremized. Supremacist? I'll work on that. We'll come back on the other side.
Look, as I hear my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, what I hear is the same racist, misogynistic trash, different decade. Republicans are invoking historical policies intended, let's be clear, to disenfranchise Americans, especially working people, women, students, indigenous people, and anyone who can't afford the burdens of a new bill. The Save America Act is yet another Republican attempt to intimidate and suppress the votes of anyone who threatens their extremist white supremacist agenda. Look,
okay, I'm sorry. If you're looking for contrast, let me give you the contrast that you're going to see, because this is it. Let's save America because one illegal vote is too many. You're a white supremacist. Okay, thank you for talking. I appreciate it. Anna Paulina Luna, who avoids all the white supremacist stuff, also says do it, and she does it very well put together and in a very articulate way. Yeah, all about white supremacy, apparently. This woman nailed it. Guys, dog whistle doesn't even describe this. It is literally like Donald Trump does something I don't like, racist, women, indigenous people. How many more buzzwords can I throw in there to make people offended? Get them emotionally reactive? All right, maybe the number 2 in command of Democrats would be another great little add-on. Remember her? This is Catherine Clark, the second in command, when she was in the first shutdown fight where the Democrats got bent over a barrel and Chuck Schumer lost all his credibility and Hakeem Jeffries did too. And she said that the pain of the American people that they were putting through with a 40-day shutdown was their leverage and they needed it, so they were going to use it. Remember that? That's the same woman. Okay, watch what she says now. Oh, man, I got to read. Man, it'd be really great if I had this ready for you guys. Man, what kind of host am I? All right, here we go.
They're trying to say this is a voter ID bill. That's not what's happening here. Let's just look at a typical mom. You guys must know some working mothers. The ones that I hear from across my district and across this country, they are struggling to put food on the table for their kids, working 2 jobs to try and make ends meet, trying to juggle getting their kids to school, maybe catching an occasional game, fearing they're never going to be able to find childcare they can afford, and praying nobody in the family gets sick because they can't afford a doctor either. And now you're going to, because they got married and changed their names, they have to go down to a clerk and prove they're citizens, sign affidavits, do this in person. This is a minefield of red tape that you have put in front of women and Americans.
Okay, I'm going to... Come here. Ladies, we have a large portion of this audience that is female, okay? I just want to tip my hat to you guys, because the amount of emotional propaganda and manipulation that you are put under by these people trying to get you to give up your rights and give up things that are important to you because of some sort of emotional impetus through you're going to change your name, or they hate women, or they want you barefoot and pregnant, or the patriarchy. One second it's don't get married, the next second is do get married. It all depends on the way, the if, then, that, this. Y'all, seriously, to the women in the audience, I respect the hell out of y'all because the amount of propaganda and manipulation that these people try to do to you is off the charts. I mean, honest to God, it really is wild. Let me hear a little love in the chat for the ladies in this one for putting up with this kind of crap. But anyway, let's keep on going because, honest goodness, we're still establishing the contrast. Hey, look, a new one. All right. This one I did not get to fit into my prior video, but hey, we're on a live stream. I've got your attention, so we're going to have some fun with this one because it turns out that not only was it poll taxing that was really bad, there's 69 million women who follow the traditional practice of changing their name after marriage, do not have a birth certificate that matches their legal name. Republicans know this and want to use that to block them from voting. Okay. Let's get, maybe it's not as bad as it is written. Maybe.
Here's who it will hurt. More than 140 million Americans don't have a passport, including Republicans, by the way. As many as 69 million women who follow the traditional practice of changing their name after marriage do not have a birth certificate that matches their legal name. Republicans know this and want to use that misinformation to block them from voting. This bill would eliminate the voter registration methods over 90% of Americans rely on, including online, mail-in, and DMV registration. In rural areas, Americans would be forced to drive 7 or 8 hours round trip just to show documents, and they would have to do it every single time they move. When Kansas tried a similar law, 32,000 eligible citizens were blocked from registering. 0 non-citizens were found because election officials had already verified their eligibility. Republicans call this voter ID. This is voter suppression. When they can't win on ideas, they try to win by blocking the ballot and taxing your right to vote.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to hone in. The rest of that was just as stupid as it was written. Turns out Audible didn't help it. But I'm just going to hone in on that last little piece real quick. The ideas don't work, so we have to change the rules. What ideas aren't exactly working, Cupcake? The Biden administration? Yeah, that worked great. Men and women's bathrooms, men and women's sports. Couldn't tell what a man or woman was. Men could get pregnant. Women couldn't get pregnant. I mean, like, that was a great time. We had mandatory vaccine ideas that were thrown around. We had COVID passports. We had increased taxes on everybody. We had an open border that was flown wide open with 12 million people who walked through. No idea who they were, resulting in an increase of crime, increase of significant reductions in availability of housing and rent, which made all the pricing go up. Gas went up. Groceries went up because 12 million people were just injected into the system without any type of overview. Yeah, whose ideas suck and are unconscionable? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm just going to keep on trucking because I think we've nailed that one to the wall. But this is the contrast that you're going to see. This is it, guys. Honest to God. You're going to have all of these people claiming voter suppression, sexism, racism, white supremacists. Meanwhile, everybody on our side's like, can we just get ID to vote and everyone can vote? Like, what's wrong with this? This is where we're going. But now, we've come to the final segment. I've got 4 more tabs that I'm about to destroy over here. Super chat from Kristen Massa, 872, or Kristen, yeah, $9.99 with a thank you, cute little fox thing. Lots of planes emojis and love for the ladies. Absolutely love it. Concrete Lizard, if I recall correctly, Concrete Lizard does not want me to say the numbers. $5 super chat. Wow, the depths of hell these dims will go to is astounding. Never a care for the truth. Well, the truth is an inconvenient thing. See what I did there? Climate change and didn't work. And no? Okay. Let's keep on trucking, guys. That was a lot of fun right there with our little break. Now I'm going to get to you the behind the scenes movement that's going on. This is the part where we talk about Susan, no, not her, other one. Lisa Murkowski. Other rhino. Sorry, I get them confused. All right, here we go. Senator Joni Ernst, Republican of Iowa, just signed on as a co-sponsor of the Save America Act with based Mike Lee as the sponsor and 39 co-sponsors. We're up to 40 senators in support. Now, this is important, going back to what I told you with the co-sponsors and the way the system works. All the energy is going to pour into this. If they do the standing filibuster, which, honest to God, they probably should do, I know there's a lot of people on their side who say don't do the filibuster, do that. What they probably should do the standing filibuster, because you're not nuking the filibuster completely. You're just making people work. Okay, cool, good talk. The court system is still there to tell you what is overreach and out of control and unconstitutional. Honest to God, it's not absolutely a horrible idea. But now that you're getting people like Joni Ernst, and this is why I showed you this portion. Joni Ernst is a rhino. I mean, like flat out. She's in trouble in her district, or her state rather. She is not loved by Republicans and conservatives. She's part of the establishment rhino class. She has been since she signed on to the Gun Control Act under Joe Biden, the Senate Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, the only one they passed, right? She signed on to that. She was one of the big breaking votes. Now, she's on the SAVE Act, and that's interesting. And the reason that's interesting is because she goes whichever the way the wind blows her and which way will ensure her political survival. That's why that's fascinating to me. Because now you're getting the establishment little critters doing it. The way this works, and it's a dirty little secret, we all know it, certain senators vote no because they're not up for election, and then certain senators vote yes because they're up for election. And although some weird reason Susan Collins is breaking that rule, but you get the idea. Here's another one that has joined. Chuck Grassley just joined as a co-sponsor for the Save America Act. Getting closer and closer to 50, then all we need is to defeat the Dems in a standing filibuster and bring J.D. Vance in to break the tie. It's 100%. If you get the standing filibuster to occur, and they just whine out of their own energy, we get 50 days or 48 days of Cory Booker, I am Spartacus, standing on the floor for 24 hours. Congratulations. They wipe, you run the energy down, they are out of the way, and then you vote and you pass this thing. That is the way that it would work. If they do it, they'll pass it. If they don't, you're looking at about a whole lot of pain for the Republicans, honestly. But that's where you're at. That's what we're doing. Chuck Grassley just joined on. And then you come to this one. Oh, Lisa Murkowski. Now, Lisa Murkowski has always been the fly in the ointment. She's always been the liberal wearing an R on her name every single time. Like, she is the go-to if they want the vote to go to the Democrats. She and Susan Collins, they're both in that rhino-y middle ground. It's like our version of John Fetterman. You have to understand what you're dealing with here, okay? Just like they used to have Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin, they both got out. We still got R2. Once R2 get out, then it'll be cool again. But that's kind of where you're at right now. Alaska Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski says she will not support the SAVE Act. Now, this is the interesting part about this. Because when she's saying that she won't support the SAVE Act, she's on record with her own website saying that she has supported previous voter reforms under the Biden administration. Uh-oh. Damn that internet. For the past 3 sessions, this is from her website. For the past 3 sessions of Congress, Senator Murkowski has been the sole Republican co-sponsor of the Voting Rights Advancement Act with Senator Leahy, Democrat, Vermont, now known as the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. Well, that's weird. So you've been on the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act with the Democrats as a co-sponsor for the past 3 sessions on your own website. But when it comes to this one, all of a sudden, it's just not the right thing to do. Isn't that odd? God, that is weird. You literally brag on your website about being the sole Republican to join the Democrats in voting for their effort to federalize elections and facilitate voter fraud. Resign, you useless Nepo baby. All right. He said it. I didn't say it. But if it's on your own website, you might want to delete that before you start talking about how you're never going to vote for voter registration or voter ID reform. And this is the response right here. When Democrats attempted to advance sweeping election reform legislation in 2021, Republicans were unanimous in opposition because it would have federalized elections, something we have long opposed. Now I'm seeing proposals such as the SAVE Act and MEGA that would effectively do the same thing. She literally voted to advance the same thing in 2021. Enjoy that, because that's going to be circulating. And here's the whole thing. By the way, did you guys enjoy the Raging Grannies? I thought the Raging Grannies were a good opener. You guys can tell me what you think in the comments field below in the chat, making sure it's all that emoji action going on. You guys have done a great job defending the chat's honor. I saw a little bit of spicy moments popping up over there, but this is the entire point. I mean, despite the notification doing the notification thing, we cruised at like 2,700 people. That's pretty good for having no notifications. Thanks, guys. Wrapping this whole thing up, it's out of the House. The pressure's on the Senate. The pressure's on John Thune. The White House wants it. The GOP's tweeting about it. The individual House members want it. The Republican voters want it. The Democrat voters want it. You've got Elon Musk, who is the main funding vehicle in the midterms, of which they're going to need, wanting it. You've got everything that you are framing for the election, and it's a campaign promise of the president. If you don't do this with that amount of wins behind you, I don't know if you're going to be able to do anything, candidly. You have the power, you have the opportunity, you have the support. Why would you not? It's kind of my thought on it. Faith Over Fear with a super chat for $5. You missed my super chat asking about the name of your 2A channel. Now I have to pay twice. Well, I am sorry, Faith. I apologize. I did not mean to miss that. I try very hard to not miss super chats. So what Faith is referring to is I have multiple different outlets and multiple different things. So this channel, I started out originally doing only and focusing only on 2A content. I have since bridged and added in political commentary where I blend all of these things together because all of those things directly result in an election win for all of the things. So if I focus and bring all these things together, then I'm going to not only bring expertise of the 2A world into the politics general, I'm also going to bring the politics general into the 2A world, and I'm going to blend the entire thing for a win overall, which is beneficial to all. That's my channel. Then I've got Katie's channel, which is Stone Second Sense, which is still dedicated solely to the 2A community and the Second Amendment rights community by itself. That is her sole job as my employee, and that is where we put all of the dedicated 2A stuff, and I do a blend and touch on it when it crosses over and when it comes back and forward. That is what would solve the problem. I'm sorry you had to pay twice. I do apologize. But listen, I love each and every one of you guys more. That's not the way to say. More than enough. But just the right amount to make you feel comfortable. And I'll see you guys on the next one. I hope you enjoyed the content. I will keep you updated. I'm Braden. Later.